The coordinates were precise. Latitude 25.374 north, longitude 79.774 west. The distress signal lasted exactly 47 seconds before cutting to static. What happened next defied every known law of physics and challenged the fundamental understanding of reality itself. December 14, 1945. 5 torpedo bombers departed Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station for a routine training mission. Flight 19, as it would become known, carried 14 experienced airmen into what would become aviation's most enduring mystery. The lead pilot's voice crackled through the radio at 14:10 hours.
Everything looks strange, even the ocean. We don't know where we are. The water is green, no white. The compass is going crazy. We can't make out anything. We think we may be about 10 to 15 miles northeast of the base. The towers look torn down.
But this wasn't just another navigation error or equipment malfunction. What emerged from classified military files 60 years later painted a picture so disturbing that 3 separate government agencies fought to keep it buried. The rescue seaplane dispatched to find Flight 19 exploded 13 minutes after takeoff. 13 souls aboard that aircraft vanished in a ball of fire witnessed by dozens. The official explanation blamed fuel vapors. The truth, according to internal memoranda finally released through persistent legal action, suggested something far more sinister. The research vessel departed Miami at 0400 hours on March 23, 1968. Aboard were 7 marine biologists from a prestigious East Coast university, equipped with the most advanced underwater photography equipment available. Their mission was routine: document coral reef degradation in the Bahama Banks. 26 hours later, the Coast Guard found their vessel floating empty, engines still running. Fresh coffee steaming in the galley, personal belongings undisturbed, navigation equipment functioning perfectly. 7 human beings had simply ceased to exist. The head of Maritime Search and Rescue Operations, a 30-year veteran, submitted his resignation 3 days after the investigation concluded. His final report, obtained through sources within the department, contained a single handwritten notation in the margins. The water temperature readings don't match, they can't match. Something is affecting thermal layers at depths that shouldn't be possible. Temperature anomalies. This detail would surface again and again in cases spanning 7 decades. A commercial airline pilot flying the Miami to San Juan route in 1974 reported his instruments registering outside air temperatures of -47 degrees Fahrenheit, while flying at 8,000 feet over clear tropical waters. Impossible, according to meteorological data. The air traffic control recordings captured his confusion.
Tower, we're showing extreme temperature variations, requesting immediate weather update for our position.
The response was equally baffling. Sir, our equipment shows normal conditions for your altitude and location. Please verify your readings.
That pilot landed safely. His aircraft underwent thorough inspection. Every temperature sensor had malfunctioned simultaneously during the 43 minutes they crossed the Triangle's waters. The airline's maintenance chief discovered something that defied explanation. The sensors hadn't malfunctioned. They had recorded accurate readings. Independent verification from weather balloons launched within hours confirmed localized temperature inversions that violated known atmospheric physics. A pattern emerges when examining incident reports filed between 1950 and 2010. 63 separate accounts describe similar environmental impossibilities. Compass deviations ranging from 5 to 180 degrees. Radio communications cutting to dead silence despite clear atmospheric conditions. Visual distortions where horizon lines appeared to bend or disappear entirely. Most disturbing, time displacement reports where chronometers aboard affected vessels registered temporal discrepancies ranging from minutes to hours. The luxury yacht disappeared on June 7, 1997. 11 passengers, 4 crew members. The vessel's advanced GPS tracking system transmitted position data until 11:23 p.m., then nothing. Search and rescue operations commenced at dawn. The yacht was discovered 4 days later, anchored in shallow waters near Eleuthera Island. Empty, undisturbed. The automatic distress beacon had never activated. Ship's logs ended abruptly mid-sentence. The final entry, written in the captain's hand, read simply, "The stars are wrong, the water is singing." Coast Guard investigators found the yacht systems functioning normally. Food remained fresh in the galley. Personal items suggested the occupants had vanished during evening cocktails. Wine glasses contained liquid, cigarettes burned down to filters and ashtrays. But the most unsettling discovery came from the vessel's sophisticated weather monitoring equipment. During the 4 days the yacht drifted unmanned, its instruments recorded weather patterns that didn't exist. Barometric pressure readings that fluctuated wildly without corresponding atmospheric disturbances. Wind speed and direction data showing contradictory measurements taken simultaneously. The lead investigator's confidential report, leaked by a source within the department, contained details that were never made public. Forensic analysis of the ship's chronometer revealed it had gained 17 minutes during the period the vessel was missing. Security camera footage from the yacht's interior showed empty rooms for the entire 4-day period, yet motion sensors had triggered repeatedly, recording movement where none was visible. Government interest in the triangle phenomenon extends far beyond public knowledge. Declassified documents from a major intelligence agency reveal Operation Deep Look, a classified research program initiated in 1962, following the loss of 2 military reconnaissance aircraft within 18 months. The operation's objectives were explicit. Determine if the Bermuda Triangle represents a threat to national security, and investigate reports of anomalous phenomena affecting military operations. Deep Look's findings, heavily redacted but accessible through persistent legal challenges, paint a picture of systematic investigation spanning 4 decades. Research teams documented consistent electromagnetic anomalies within the triangle's boundaries. Gravitational measurements showing variations that contradict known physics. Underwater geological surveys revealing structural formations that appear artificially constructed, yet predate human civilization by millennia. The program's most classified findings concern temporal disturbances. Multiple research vessels reported chronometer malfunctions that couldn't be explained by equipment failure. In one documented incident, a research submarine conducting deep water surveys near the Puerto Rico Trench emerged from a dive to discover their surface support ship reported them missing for 6 hours, while the submarine's log showed a dive duration of 90 minutes. Project files contained testimony from military personnel describing encounters that challenged fundamental understanding of reality. A Navy sonar operator stationed aboard a destroyer in 1978 provided sworn testimony about detecting underwater objects moving at speeds exceeding 200 knots. Objects that appeared artificial in construction yet demonstrated capabilities beyond known technology. When surface vessels attempted to investigate, the objects vanished from all detection equipment as if they had never existed. Deep Look was officially terminated in 1996. The final project report, classified at the highest levels, concluded that the Bermuda Triangle phenomenon represented quote-unquote an ongoing security concern requiring continued monitoring. Personnel involved in the operation were transferred to different assignments and bound by security agreements that remain in effect today. But the investigation didn't end. It evolved. Multiple sources within government agencies confirm the existence of ongoing monitoring operations conducted under different classifications. Satellite surveillance data, oceanographic research disguised as environmental studies. The evidence suggests a deliberate campaign to minimize public awareness of the triangle's anomalies. Consider the commercial fishing vessel that vanished in 2003. 8 experienced fishermen departed Nassau. Their vessel was equipped with multiple safety systems, GPS tracking, and regular radio check-ins. Coast Guard search operations found debris scattered across 12 square miles. The debris showed signs of catastrophic structural failure. Metal components were twisted in patterns suggesting exposure to extreme gravitational forces. Paint and other organic materials displayed molecular changes. Radiocarbon dating of wooden components from the vessel showed temporal inconsistencies. The official investigation concluded the vessel was destroyed by a freak weather event. 3 scientists involved in the analysis were reassigned to different departments within days of completing their reports. Underwater surveys of the Triangle region revealed geological anomalies that contradict accepted understanding of seafloor formation. Sonar mapping conducted by research institutions has identified structures that appear artificial, yet show no signs of human construction. Geometric formations extending for miles across the ocean floor, composed of materials not found elsewhere in the Atlantic basin. When sample collection has been attempted, equipment failures occur with statistical impossibility. The deep water research vessel deployed advanced submersibles to investigate these formations in 2007. Each time, the submersibles experienced complete systems failures upon approaching the structures. Navigation equipment malfunctioned. Communication systems cut to static. Temperature readings showed simultaneous hot and cold zones in the same water column. Water samples collected near the formations contained isotopic compositions unlike any known seawater. were eventually sealed in specialized containment units after they began exhibiting properties that concerned the research team's safety officers. Historical records reveal the triangle phenomenon extends far beyond modern aviation and maritime incidents. Spanish colonial documents describe ships entering waters near the Bahamas and encountering impossible weather patterns, vessels reporting fog that moved against prevailing winds, compass needles spinning without magnetic interference, stars appearing in wrong positions despite clear navigation conditions. A Spanish merchant vessel's log from 1694 describes an encounter that mirrors modern reports almost exactly. The captain wrote of entering waters where time seemed altered, the sun's position suggesting hours had passed while the ship's chronometer indicated only minutes. Crew members experiencing disorientation and memory gaps, fish in surrounding waters appearing dead yet swimming normally. When the vessel escaped the affected area, 3 crew members were discovered missing despite no record of anyone going overboard. Indigenous populations of the Caribbean maintained oral traditions warning against certain waters near what is now called the Bermuda Triangle. These warnings, documented by early European explorers, described areas where the sea and sky became confused, where spirits of the water could trap vessels in places between worlds, where time moved differently and the normal rules of existence no longer applied. These historical accounts gain credibility when examined alongside modern incidents. The consistency of reported phenomena across centuries suggests environmental conditions that predate human technology and persist regardless of the equipment used to observe them. Whatever affects modern aircraft and ships apparently influence sailing vessels equipped with nothing more sophisticated than compass and chronometer. The insurance industry maintains records that paint a statistical picture of the triangle's true impact. Confidential actuarial data obtained from multiple major maritime insurers reveals claim rates within the triangle region that exceed statistical norms by factors of 3 to 7, depending on vessel type and size. These companies quietly surcharge policies for vessels operating regularly in triangle waters, despite public statements dismissing the region's dangers. A senior risk analyst from a prominent marine insurance company provided testimony under condition of anonymity about the industry's private assessment of triangle risks.
We've been tracking incident patterns for 30 years. The data is clear. Vessels entering the triangle region experience higher rates of total loss, equipment failure, and crew-related incidents. We can't explain why, but we'd be criminally negligent to ignore the statistical reality.
The financial implications extend beyond insurance. Shipping companies maintain unofficial routing guidelines to minimize time spent in triangle waters. Airlines adjust flight paths when possible to avoid extended time over the region. Military operations are planned with acknowledgement of increased risk factors. These precautions are taken quietly, without public acknowledgement of the reasoning behind them. Commercial pilots flying regular routes through triangle airspace report equipment anomalies at rates significantly higher than other regions with similar traffic density. Compass deviations, radio interference, and instrument malfunctions occur with statistical clustering that defies explanation through conventional causes. The Federal Aviation Administration maintains incident databases showing this pattern clearly, yet public statements consistently minimize the region's operational challenges. The evidence from multiple sources and time periods builds an undeniable case. Something in the Bermuda Triangle region affects normal physical processes in ways that challenge fundamental understanding of reality. Whether geological, atmospheric, electromagnetic, or something beyond current scientific knowledge, the phenomenon is real, persistent, and dangerous. Recent incidents continue to add to the mystery. The research expedition that departed Port Everglades in 2019 was tracking migration patterns of deep water species. Their vessel was equipped with the most advanced oceanographic equipment available: real-time satellite communication, GPS tracking accurate to within meters, redundant safety systems meeting the highest maritime standards. Contact was lost during their 4th day at sea while investigating underwater formations near the Puerto Rico Trench. Search operations located the vessel 3 days later, floating dead in the water with all hands missing. The ship's sophisticated data recording systems had captured their final hours in unprecedented detail. Environmental sensors recorded impossible readings, water temperature fluctuations of 40 degrees within minutes, electromagnetic field variations that should require nuclear-level energy sources, gravitational anomalies that suggested localized space-time distortions. Most significantly, the vessel's atomic clock, synchronized with global positioning satellites, showed temporal displacement of 43 minutes. During the period when the crew vanished, ship's time had somehow gained nearly an hour relative to universal coordinated time. This discrepancy was confirmed by independent analysis of the satellite communication logs and GPS timestamps. The investigating team's preliminary findings were classified immediately upon completion. Personnel involved in the analysis were reassigned to different projects. The research vessel was quietly decommissioned and sold to private interests. Official statements attributed the incident to equipment malfunction and tragic accident at sea, despite evidence suggesting otherwise. Advanced satellite monitoring systems now track the Triangle region continuously. Classified programs using technology beyond public knowledge maintain surveillance of the area's electromagnetic, gravitational, and temporal characteristics. Multiple sources confirm these monitoring systems regularly detect anomalies that correlate with vessel disappearances and aircraft incidents. The data collected by these systems reveals patterns that suggest the triangle phenomenon operates according to consistent but unknown principles. Anomalous readings intensify during specific lunar phases. Solar activity appears to influence the frequency and intensity of reported incidents. Certain geographical coordinates within the triangle show persistent, unusual characteristics regardless of weather conditions or seasonal variations. Weather modification experiments conducted by government research programs have investigated whether artificial atmospheric manipulation could explain triangle phenomena. High-altitude atmospheric testing using advanced electromagnetic technologies has produced localized effects similar to those reported by triangle incident survivors. These experiments, conducted under the highest security classifications, suggest human technology might be capable of reproducing some triangle-like conditions artificially. The implications are staggering. If the triangle phenomenon results from natural processes that can be understood and potentially replicated, the technological applications would revolutionize physics, energy production, transportation, and military capabilities. If the phenomenon represents something beyond current scientific understanding, it challenges fundamental assumptions about reality itself. Underground facilities in the Caribbean region house research operations dedicated to studying triangle samples and data. These installations, funded through black budget allocations, conduct experiments that push the boundaries of known science. Personnel with the highest security clearances work on projects that officially don't exist, investigating materials and phenomena that could transform human understanding of the universe. The truth about the Bermuda Triangle remains hidden behind layers of classification, misdirection, and institutional skepticism. But the evidence continues to accumulate. Incident reports that can't be explained away. Scientific data that contradicts official explanations. Witness testimony from credible sources who risk careers and credibility to share their experiences. Every month brings new incidents, aircraft reporting instrument failures and navigation problems, ships experiencing impossible environmental conditions, research vessels recording data that challenges known physics. The phenomenon persists, indifferent to human attempts to explain it away or ignore its implications. The Bermuda Triangle represents more than a collection of unexplained incidents. It stands as proof that reality contains mysteries beyond current human understanding, that the universe operates according to principles we haven't discovered or acknowledged. That somewhere in the clear blue waters between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, the fundamental rules of existence become negotiable. The coordinates remain precise: latitude 25.374 north, longitude 79.774 west. The phenomenon continues. Ships still vanish without explanation. Aircraft still encounter impossible conditions. Research teams still record data that shouldn't exist. And somewhere in the depths of classified government files, the real truth about the Bermuda Triangle waits to be revealed. What lies beneath those seemingly ordinary waters? What force can bend reality itself and make the impossible routine? What technology or natural phenomenon can manipulate time, space, and the basic laws of physics with casual indifference to human understanding? The answers exist, in classified files, in restricted research facilities, in the testimony of witnesses who've been silenced or discredited, in the data that's been collected but never publicly released. The truth about the Bermuda Triangle is out there, hidden behind walls of security and skepticism, waiting for someone brave enough to bring it into the light. Until then, the mystery endures, the phenomenon continues, and the Bermuda Triangle keeps its secrets locked beneath the waves, in the spaces between moments, in the places where the normal rules don't apply and the impossible becomes inevitable.